Hello and welcome everyone. I'm the Upper Down, aka Tud, and today we're going to be continuing our Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced playthrough. Alright, so let's take a look at the characters here and see where we left off. Alright, so Tud is currently a blue mage. He has just finished learning and picked up Metra Magic from the previous combat we were in, and is almost complete with Damage MP. Once we finish that, we'll switch back over to another job class to continue picking up new abilities. Alright, Mont Blanc we have in the Thief role at the moment, working on counter and the combo ability for this job class, which will allow him to co-op with other teammates to take down enemies. Nexu we have in the Thief role as well, currently working on Steel Accessory and Counter. These are both really good abilities, which will allow for a more diverse build for Nexu. Kaif is currently working on the Greased Bolt ability for Warrior. Greased Bolt will allow Kaif to attack faster than a reaction ability would react to it, meaning any enemy with Reflex, which would normally be immune to melee attacks, or an enemy with Counter. Neither of these abilities would go off, as Greased Bolt will act faster than they do. Utolio here we have in the Morpher role, currently completing the Float Eye ability here. Once that is complete, I plan on moving on to Flan, which we just picked up in the last combat. This will allow him to turn into the Lightning Flan. Flans primarily specialize in black magic style abilities, but they also have access to a debuff called Acid, I believe. And what that does is it will enact a random status ailment to an enemy that it strikes. And then we have Leticia here in the White Mage role, working on the Cure ability. The intention there is to unlock the Elementalist class, so we can begin learning more debuffing style abilities. We'll also potentially unlock the Summoner, which is a lot of fun. That will allow us to do debuffs in an area of effect. Alright, so let's check the clan roster here and see we do not have any missions at the moment. Alright, so let's head back to town here and pick up another mission. Okay. I always like to look at the non-combat missions first to see what we have access to. Looks like there is a mission here called O Milice. Know you Milice of the Hefuse acting troupe? I'm her biggest fan. Won't you give her this song I've written? Valerio, a composer. This mission will take 15 days. Anyone can go on it. There are no required items, skills, or jobs. And we will earn the White Thread mission item. This is important for a later mission that we'll end up doing most likely in the near future. So I am looking now for anyone who may be needing an extra boost. I'm going to choose Nexu here, send him out on this mission. Chocobo help. Requires 5 days. Need. Help during the Chocobo spawning season. Private room, meals, no experience required. Childcare. and any race can accept this mission. Sasasha, Chocobo Ranch. This mission will require 5 days and will reward us with the Pure Staff. That is an item that will allow for anyone in the White Mage role to cast Isana, which is a Cure Debuff ability. We're going to go ahead and send Yatolio out on this mission here to give him the extra boost he needs to finish the ability he's working on at the moment. Let's see if there are any other missions here that might be worth picking up. Ah yes, I have the mission item required for Goblin Town, so we will go ahead and pick that up. It will require 1 battle to be completed before it will be completed. So I'm going to go ahead and send Kaif out on this, because I think I can manage without him. Goblin Town. A goblin stole my favorite monster guide and buried it under a rock. I'll give you a copy if you get mine back for me. Ian, Inquisitive Youth. Let's go ahead and accept that mission. Only other mission available to us at the moment is Down to Earth. It is a 5-day mission, which will award us with a crystal and a pair of boots. Down to Earth. I have the incredible power to make things float just by looking at them. Problem is, I can't make them stop floating. Help. Palkov, Psychic. Alright. We will go ahead and send Leticia out on this mission. And now, since most of my party are currently out on missions, we will take a few steps around the map here and see if we can complete some of these before we get into our next combat. Chocobo Help. Yatolio here. Chocobo Help deftly handled. And Yatolio has mastered Float Eye. And we have leveled up a couple of our skills here. Down to Earth. Leticia here. Down to Earth was over too quick. Earned 30 ability points, and we've leveled up another skill. A few more days here to get some more of our companions back. Oh, Melise. Nectsu here. Oh, Melise clear. Completed counter and steel accessory. And we've leveled up a skill. Alright, so now that Nectsu has completed counter, I think we're going to go ahead and go down the fighter route here, so I can pick up the air render ability. With as powerful as it is, it would definitely be to our benefit to have it. Now the question is the hat better than the shield? I would lose 2 defense, but I would gain 3 evasion and 2 resistance. I think the shield is better than the hat. Okay, we can take Hunt off as the secondary and put Aim back on. And since Yatolio has mastered Float Eye, we will go ahead and switch over We also have the Bomb Soul, which I will save for later, as I am more interested in the Flan's abilities at the moment. And I believe we only have one companion out on a mission at the moment, for which we need to complete a battle. Let's check and see if we can get a hold of a combat. Alright. Rules of this engagement: no use of fire. However, use of ice abilities are recommended. Taking a look at our combatants here, we have Bernardo, the White Monk, Elias, the Thief, Colette, the Archer, Sotel, the Thief, and Crow, the Soldier. Now, since I have one comrade that is currently out on a mission, I will have to replace him temporarily. I'm going to sub in Amelia here. She is working on Swarm Strike and Shield Bearer. Unfortunately, she does not have the movement required to reach an enemy, but she does have magic, so let's throw a blizzard out here. And for doing the recommended action, we'll go ahead and get a judge point from the judge. Unfortunately, not a lot of damage from our fencer here, but she did level up. If that attack had landed, it would have triggered damage mana points instead. Thief was too far away to really do anything effective this turn. I'm going to go ahead and use Yatulio's Black Magic here to take out the Archer. Or try to, anyway. Alright, Colette, the Archer, is most likely going to try and take a shot at, yep, my fencer. Alright, Sotel. Going for my fencer once again. Going to try to at least bring the White Monk down to critical health. He has 7 remaining. And now I will attempt the same thing with the Thief here. Air Render is just such an overpowered ability early in the game. Highly recommend. Damage and steal gold. Luckily that missed. Go ahead and try to take out the white monk here. If that attack had missed, a counterattack would have been triggered and I would have taken damage there. So thankful that that didn't occur. Let's go ahead and throw some magic down here. I'm gonna try to hit both the thief and the soldier here. With any luck. Racking up the judge points here in this battle. Unfortunately, circumstances aren't necessarily ideal here. One enemy facing me, one facing away. But successfully hit both. The enemy team here doesn't have a healer, so there isn't much they can do in the way of replenishing their health. Go ahead and use Air Render here on the soldier to take them out. That enemy happens to be the only enemy that had any form of self-healing, so it should make the rest of this battle a breeze. I'm gonna go ahead and use Air Render here on their archer. And we leveled up. Very nice. Alright. Let's throw a little bit of magic in, and that should wrap this battle up. That went well. Let's keep up the good work. Got 50 ability points in that battle. Leticia has mastered Cure. And Kaif has returned. Kaif here, Goblin Town cleared with style. 50 ability points and the Monster Guide, which we'll need for a later battle. We've also, due to a skill level up in combat, gained the Blood Sword. The Blood Sword has a special ability to it. It is stained by the blood of many. It drains target's health when it deals damage. The downside to it, unfortunately, is it is rather weak as far as weapons go, only doing 18 damage. But it also can potentially teach the abilities Provoke to Soldier and Worm Killer to Dragoons. Go ahead and reorganize everything here. I believe Kaif still has quite a way to go on Greased Bolt. Yes, 210 more ability points. Alright. Now that all of our current missions are complete, let's go see what we have available to us now. Okay, a few more send-away missions. This one, unfortunately, I cannot do because I do not have the Broken Sword. Newbie Hall is restricted. Ooh, actually, we just unlocked that due to the combat level being increased. Newbie Hall. Need part-time teachers. Help apprentices in a wide variety of jobs learn the tricks of your trade. Oaks, Newbie Hall Chief. This will be a 10-day mission and will award us the Onion Sword. We also now have the ability to do the Girl in Love mission. It will award us with a magic medal. It will require a white mage in order to be accepted. We currently only have one white mage, and having her be away for 2 battles does not suit my playstyle here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to see if we could substitute a different white mage. Marcy here has already mastered Swarm Strike. Alright, let's see if she's capable of completing this mission. She is. Alright. We will send her out. She'll be gone for 2 full battles. Girl in Love. I've got a new boyfriend. He's a brave knight with chestnut hair. Could you tell our fortune with the white thread? Karina, young girl. Alright, I'd also like to do this mission for Lutia Pass to bring that under our control. It will require the defeat of 3 enemies. I opened a shop in Lutia Pass, but not a single customer has come yet. I think I need to advertise. Could you pass out flyers? Bins. Tool shop. Yes, we absolutely can do that. Now the question is, who do we want to send on this mission? Leticia needs a new weapon. Don't want to go without my fighter or my morpher here, so I'm instead going to wait on that mission until I have my party members back. For now, we'll go ahead and swap out. I'm going to have her work on Shell, which will prevent magic damage. And then the following turn, we will switch over to Elementalist and begin working on some of the debuff options that she has available. Now I believe the mission we sent away on Newbie Hall was a 10-day. It is indeed. So we will simply walk around the map for 10 days until our unit returns. Kaif here. Newbie Hall was no problem. Got an onion sword and a sleet rod. Sleet rod is used for the tier 2 ice magic. We also got a hard edge weapon due to leveling up to one of the tiers in one of our skills. We've also got a new clan member joining, Selm the Black Mage. Alright, so Kaif is almost halfway done with Greased Bolt here. And let's take a look at some of the new items we've just received. The Onion Sword, 29 attack damage, 5 defense, and 5 resistance, while also offering 10 evasion. Not a bad weapon. We got the Sleet Rod here for Blizzara, or for Sign Mage it could offer Silence, and for Illusionist, Freeze Blink. We also received Hard Edge here, which is a 42 weapon attack weapon. It is a Greatsword two-hander, and it also offers nullification to Doom. I actually wasn't aware of that. And with our party returned here, let's go ahead and take a mission. Clan Roundup. Bandit clans are stealing work and attacking without warning. They're giving us clans a bad name. Help us round them up. Clan Center. This mission we do have to complete within the next 25 days, but unlike most missions, they actually show up on the map and will walk around. So you can encounter them in different locations. Leave me 3,000 gold and I'll give you a break. So we actually have the option here. We could pay the money, or we could instead choose to fight them. If you pay them, you essentially just fail the mission and have the option to do it again. We're going to go ahead and choose the roundup option here. Alright, so let's take a look at the laws here. We cannot use items, but it is recommended to do dark damage. We have Roland, the Black Mage. Black Mages are actually sort of rare in enemy combats. They almost never spawn unless it is a special objective. We have Baldwin here, the Warrior. Geiger, the Thief. You may be able to tell next to his health and mana, he actually has a medal. That medal will prevent him from receiving any form of red card, which would typically remove an enemy from the field of battle. Now, in this instance, that won't necessarily matter because the only thing that could give him a red card would be the use of items, and he does not have the ability to use items. We also have Lendl, the Healer, and Christine, the Archer. Now, I'm actually going to split my forces here. I'm going to send probably 2 or 3 up top and keep the other 2 or 3 down bottom. primary goal is to take out the black mage and the healer pretty much simultaneously if possible. We might spare you your lives if you hand over your gold. You won't get our gold or our lives, thief. Geiger's going first here. Unfortunately for him, he is too far away to do anything. Christine the Archer, getting to the high ground here, gonna go ahead and take a shot at my Moogle, who unfortunately does not have any form of defense against arrows specifically, so it was simply a chance-based dodge. Gonna go ahead and attack their healer here. Let's see what does the most damage. We're looking at 47 with Ice Breath. I could throw out Greased Bolt, which would be 48, or a basic melee attack, which would also be 48. I'll just go ahead and do the basic melee attack here. 50. Alright, I don't like my odds to hit with magic here. 60%. I'll go ahead and roll the dice. Alright, their healer is now out of the picture. Go ahead and morph here into a Flan. I want to give their abilities a try. Now to attempt to take out the Black Mage. 65% chance to hit. And success. Okay. One more hit ought to do it. 83% chance to hit. .46% chance to hit. I think instead we're going to go ahead and go for the archer here. .75% chance to hit. And we've leveled up. Interesting that he chose to go up instead of come down and attack my units which were in range. Alright, their archer is going to attempt to immobilize my Moogle. Alright, so if I were to attack this enemy, they would counterattack me. However, Greased Bolt will bypass that, So we'll go ahead and use that. 39 damage, fantastic. Let's go ahead and throw Blizzard out here. This ought to bring Geiger to critical health, if it landed. Alright, let's see what sort of abilities Yatulio has access to. With the Flan, we could potentially use Thundaga, which is the top tier, tier 3 Thunder ability, or we could use Acid, which would afflict random status ailments. Only a 46% chance to hit on that enemy. Instead, I think we're going to go ahead and try to take out the Thief here. One of my favorite animated attacks. Yatulio has leveled up. Ugh, you got me. Unfortunately, Air Render only works on enemies that are within 3 tiles, so I will not be able to hit this enemy this turn. I'll simply set myself up for the following turn. However, Tud will be able to use his ability here. And actually, instead of using Air Render, which would do 41 damage, I have a better idea. I'm going to use Metra Magic, which would swap the enemy's health and mana points, essentially working out to around 90 damage. And puts the enemy into a critical health. Now, he will probably attempt to use First Aid on himself. Ah, I see. He's instead chosen to attack me. He used a self-harming ability to increase his damage output. Unfortunately for him, I had damage mana points active, so he damaged my mana instead of my health, and I damaged his health, so he is now very low. Alright. With any luck, this should be the... just shy. That puts the archer in a state of critical health. And then, just for fun, I'm going to try out the acid ability. See what sort of status ailments we can inflict on the archer. And we missed. My Morpher having damage mana points active means he will not suffer any damage from this attack, but it's worth it for the opportunity to take out their archer. Alright, and this should be the end of the battle. We won! We drove out the bandits! Alright, clan roundup cleared. Tud has mastered damage mana points. Montblanc has mastered thief combo. And we have just recruited Marine, the archer. Alright, so now that Tud has mastered damage mana points, let's go ahead and push him down the thief route so he can get the counter reaction. I'm gonna go ahead and put Shield Bearer on here. I'll have to go buy another shield. And I'm gonna switch damage mana points out for counter. Montblanc has mastered Thief combo. Back to the shop. Let's see what we can pick up for shield here. We have access to the Opal Shield. That is 2 defense, 6 resistance, and 7 evasion. That is more evasion than any other shield. As well as more defense and resistance. So let's go ahead and pick that shield up. Also going to check while I'm here to see if there are any more thief weapons that we don't have. Yes, steel helmet. So let's go ahead and pick that one up. As well as steel armor. Actually gonna have Tud work on steel armor. Since I don't currently have anyone else with that ability, it would be nice to have. And once Nexu finishes Air Render, I will probably switch him back to Thief as well, to have him pick up either helmet, steel helmet, or steel armor. Let's see if there are any more good missions available. Swords in Cyril, which will require a fencer. Amelia is more than up to the task. Announcing the biggest event of the year, the Cyril Swordsmanship Competition. Test your strength and skill. Cyril Event Committee. I'm gonna go ahead and send one of my guys out on this Ludia Pass mission as well. I think it's going to be Kaif. I'm going to wait on this wanted mission. There are a few items that they have equipped that I would rather have myself, but I don't currently have the ability to steal them, so I will hold off on that for now. And Twisted Flow is another checkpoint mission, which will require some more abilities that I don't yet have. So we're going to hold off on that. I'm going to instead look for a random encounter. Let me see if the other pub has any different missions. It does not. Current laws are no use of instruments, and use of knight swords are recommended. I don't think that will affect either party here, because I don't believe any of us have the ability to use either of those. Up first we have Schultz, the archer, then Marisa, the fencer, Salzburg, the warrior, Louis, the animist. Actually, I believe, yes, his weapon is considered an instrument, so the only thing he will be able to do in this combat is put enemies to sleep, which is actually very powerful. And then Cuthbert, the soldier. Ah, yes. I sent my backup character Amelia out on a mission, so I will have to substitute her. I'm going to put Selm in the battle here. Have to equip him real quick. And I think having access to a tier 2 frost spell will come in handy, so we'll go ahead and equip him with that. Unfortunately, he will not have much in the way of movement here. Going to be important in this combat to make sure my units are spaced out adequately due to the sleep ability that the animist has, as it is considered an AoE or area of effect ability. I'm gonna go ahead and use Blizzard here. It's about 33% of that enemy's health. Let's go ahead and morph into a Flan. Going to attempt to use air render here, which will bring the warrior down significantly. Alright, the archer Schultz is going to attempt a shot at Bud here. And unfortunately, because it was a ranged attack, his counter will not trigger, because he is using a melee weapon. Alright, we're going to go ahead and use air render on the fencer here. Alright, he's going for my new black mage and has taken about half of his health. Going to try to take out Marissa, the fencer here, because he has the reflex ability, which can be a pain for melee characters to face. So the quicker we get her out of the battle, the better. Alright, now the only other enemy I really need to worry about is the Animist, who can cast Sleep. He might be about to do that now, actually. Yes, indeed. He's going to attempt to put to sleep Tud and my secondary character here. And succeeded both. Any sort of damaging attack made against them will have a 100% chance to hit, but will also wake them up from sleep. Alright, let's see what sort of damage we have with the Tier 2 Blizzard spell. Looks like 32. Not bad. If it lands, that should take out the warrior. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some thunder here on the soldier. And now seems like a good opportunity to use the Tier 3 Thunder spell. And this should be enough to take the Animist out of the battle. Alright, that leaves us with two opponents remaining. The soldier there at the top, who is at 33% health, and the archer. I don't foresee any trouble out of the archer. His attacks are more or less harmless. Now this attack will be guaranteed to hit due to my character Tud being asleep. I'm gonna go ahead and use Air Render here. This will take the archer down to single-digit health. Cuthbert the soldier is going to go off and heal. Looks like he recovered 8 health there. If I were to attack Cuthbert here, I would be able to do 26 damage. Now, given the distance my other characters have from the archer, I am instead going to attack it to try to take the archer out of the battle sooner. And it looks like I missed. Alright. Let's throw a Tier 2 Blizzard spell. That ought to be enough to finish the soldier off if it lands. And unfortunately, everyone is too far away, so we'll have to exhaust a turn to come within range. Going for my black mage here. A simple melee attack, if it lands, will be enough. 47 damage. That went well, let's keep up the good work. There's 50 ability points for this, and we've cleared 3 missions. First is Girl in Love. Marcy here, Girl in Love was too easy. We've earned the magic medal, and she earned 50 ability points. There's a skill up. We've reached tier 5 in the level 5 in the negotiation perk. Swords and Cyril. Amelia here, Swords and Cyril was too easy. We've now earned ourselves the Thunder Rod, which is the tier 2 lightning rod. 50 ability points to Amelia, so she has mastered Swarm Strike. Skill level up. We've gained 2 different skill points. And Pablo, the thief, has offered to join our clan. And last but not least, Lutia Pass. Kaif here, Lutia Pass was no problem. We have now earned ourselves the Fire Wheel Rod, which is the tier 2 fire weapon. We now possess all 3 of the basic elements weapons. 50 ability points for Kaif, and a clan level up. We've also acquired the White Robe. That's actually a very important item. I will explain more in a moment. Wells has joined the party. Wells the Archer. Lutia Pass is clear. 28 areas remain that are not part of our territory. Okay, so looking at Leticia here, the item we just received, the White Robe, when equipped, will give the Turbo Mana Points ability, which will spend double the amount of mana for better damage and hit rate. So your chance to hit and the damage done will greatly increase. Unfortunately, so will the cost of the ability, and with Leticia having such a low mana pool, I do not think that's worth it for me. So we will go ahead and swap out Amelia's weapon here so she can get started on a new ability. And just to double check here, everyone is still working on something. Alright, that brings us to the end of today's playthrough. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, helps my channel out greatly. Or if you're watching from Twitch, please feel free to toss me a follow and keep an eye out for more. Alright, until next time.